Let's take a look at the joining tables methods and how they work. There are inner, outer, and cross-table joins. And we'll start with the inner join, more simply join. There are two tables, A and B, each containing 3 rows. With an inner join, each row from the first table is matched against each row from the second table, and then the joining condition is checked. If the condition is true, then the rows are included in the resulting table. As you can see, only one row gets into our resulting table, since only the identifier 1 is present in both tables A and B. As you can see, only one row gets into our resulting table, since only the identifier 1 is present in both tables A and B. And the rows with IDs 2, 3, and 4 are not included, since they don't have a matching row in another table. Now let's discuss the types of outer joins: left, right, full, outer join. The right or left table is determined by the order in which they are specified in the join clause. For example, the record "a left join B" means that table A is left and table B is right. Outer is an optional part of the SQL standard. The left join algorithm is the following. First, the resulting table is formed by an inner join of 2 tables, and a row with the indicator 1 is added to our table. Then, the rows that were not included in the result with an inner join are added to the left table. The rows with IDs 2 and 3, the corresponding rows from the right table, are filled with null values. The right join statement acts the same, only drops the rows of the left table. First, the table is formed by an inner join of the left and right tables, and a row with the identifier 1 gets into our resulting table. Then the rows that were not included in the result with an inner join are added to the rows of the right table, that is, rows with an identifier of 4. The corresponding rows from the left table are filled with null values. Full join is a full outer join that stores all rows in both tables. First, a table is formed on the basis of an inner join, and we see a row with the identifier 1. Then the rows that were not included in the result from the left table are added, that is, rows with identifiers 2 and 3. The corresponding records from the right table are filled with null values. The corresponding rows that were not included in the result from the right table are added to the table, that is, the rows with the identifier 4. The corresponding records from the left table are filled with null values. The simplest type of join is the cross join. The result of this join is a Cartesian product of rows, meaning each row of one table is joined to each row of another table. In this case, the join conditions are not indicated. To indicate, you can simply list the required tables separated by commas. As a result, we'll get a table where each row from table A is connected to each row from table B. You can notice that cross-join with filtering gives the same result as an inner join. First, the database will execute cross-join and only then apply the where clause to filter our result by the specialized condition. As a result, we'll have only 1 out of 9 lines. Now imagine that our tables would have more than 3 lines each. Therefore, it is highly recommended not to use cross-join this way, since such a query is much more complicated for the DBMS. Using an inner join is an easier, optional, and more straightforward option. Now we know how to easily join tables and can display a list of films and its language with a single query. Last time you might have noticed that our word language was highlighted. It means that it is a keyword in PostgreSQL, and it is not recommended to call the table that way. In order not to repeat this word further, let's use an alias, lang, for the table name and f for the table films. Now let's inner join our tables by language ID key using table aliases and sort our result by the name of the film. Using table aliases, we'll select title and rename them to movie title, remove language ID, and we are interested in the language name. As a result of query, we see that all our films are in English.